Hi, I'm Nate Flax.
I'm Noah Longworth-McGuire.
And this is Talking Lion.
Talking Lion is a podcast focused on artist-to-artist conversations.
We're primarily artists, a duo called Sleeping Lion. And throughout our career as songwriters and producers, we've had the opportunity to work with so many incredible rising artists.
Talking Lion is about hitting record on the conversations we've had with our musical friends and collaborators to get a glimpse into what their life's been like and where it's going.
A few reminders before we start.
Firstly, we now have a Patreon for fans of the show to show their support and help keep the show going.
As a Patreon subscriber, not only will you earn rewards, but you'll also gain exclusive access to a chat room in our Discord server.
Here you can talk with us and even suggest questions for our guests.
Go to patreon.com/talkinglion to subscribe.
We appreciate your support.
As we mentioned, we also have a Discord server that's become a sort of community hub for Sleeping Lion and Talking Lion. We're very active on there and very eager to talk to you about who you are on the show and how you feel about the new episodes, as well as just talking about life.
So yeah, come through and you can talk with us. You can make some new friends, share your art, and share your memes.
Go to sleepinglionmusic.com/discord to join our server.
We hope to see you there.
Lastly, our face is on a shirt. We have shirts now for Talking Lion with our faces on them. If you want to wear us on your shirt, buy a shirt. It helps support the show and it shows your friends that you like Sleeping Lion and Talking Lion.
You can find these shirts on our website, sleepinglionmusic.com/store. Pro tip. Patreon supporters of the honorary Lion tier or higher will get a free shirt.
Now back to the show.
We recorded this episode with our new friend Jillian Rossi.
We first connected with Jillian on Instagram once we learned that she collaborated with a bunch of our mutual friends. But this was the first time we got a chance to talk to her outside of DMs.
We recorded this a few days after the release of her new single, Hurt Again, which was co-written by our friends Alex Burrell, Colin Foote, and podcast alumni Emma Loveblock of Lute.
A powerful vocalist and an excellent songwriter, Jillian Rossi's talent shines through in her collaborations, viral TikToks, and relatable songs. So,
without further ado,
I'm Jillian Rossi, and this is Talking Lion.
well, hey.
Hello.
Welcome. It's nice to finally meet you.
Nice to finally meet you guys as well. I'm happy to be here.
We've been listening to your music for a while because it's been like co-written by a bunch of our mutual friends, and it's so like nice to finally meet you because we've been DMing like for a minute, and I just think it's such a small world in that sense, you know?
Yeah, for sure. Well, I'm glad you guys have been listening. That's so nice and so awesome. Who of your friends have co-written some of my songs? I'm just curious who you're friends with.
Maria is a gem of a human.
Oh my God, she's like one of my favorite people ever from Berkeley and LA.
She's brilliant. She's like, I've never met like a kinder, just like soul. I've never said anything about anybody's soul before, but like, she's just like glowing light. She's just like the nicest
100%
person. And she brings carrots, like baby carrots to sessions.
Really? I don't think she's ever brought them to mine. Maybe because she probably knows I wouldn't eat those.
We ate so much carrots. We wrote this one song. It was funny because she came over to write, and we were sort of just gonna like get to know each other and not write something. And in the last 15 minutes, we wrote like a really cute song. Like it was like it's one of my favorites at the moment.
That's good.
Just sort of small world stuff. And obviously her and Perrin have just like crushed your writing. Like it's great.
Yeah. We did Fever Dream together. That was super fun.
I love that. I love that. And we're all Berkeley schmucks. So that's
a lot of those. I don't think you guys are Berkeley schmucks though. That's like a harsh definition. I think you guys are cool. But there are a lot of Berkeley schmucks.
I appreciate that. I think everybody is a schmuck one way or another. Yeah. But what years were you there? I'm curious if we like overlapped at all.
I think we might have. I got there in 2017 and I graduated in 2020. So I was pretty much there for only 2.5 years because of the pandemic, and I graduated a year early.
I left in 2017, so we just missed each other.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know, but I've heard of you guys for like years, and I know a couple people, I've seen your names around, and I don't know if this is you or this is someone else, but Noah Longworth-McGuire written somewhere.
That would be me.
And that is what I associate Talking Lion with.
I'll take it.
Yeah. You can have that, man.
Yeah. Sorry to you.
No.
Oh, Nate Flax, right?
That's me.
See?
Yeah,
that's the other one.
I got it.
Yeah, I was at Berkeley in 2018 or until 2018. So I was floating around at some point those last 2 years.
That's awesome.
Writing with people.
Love that. So are you guys like brothers or friends or not brothers.
No, we're
Definitely
friends.
not brothers.
Yeah.
Friends.
I mean, yeah. Did you not see the similarities between us? How we look?
You guys look exactly alike.
Exactly alike. No, we met at Berkeley. And we started our project there. I think one of the interesting things about our experience there was we were sort of pursuing the kind of other sources of entertainment while we were there. Like I was interested in film. You were doing at MP&E, which is a lot closer to what you do now.
Yeah.
But also like the whole idea of like songwriting in session and stuff.
Yeah.
Kind of like what we weren't aware of that. And Noah did the Hot 100 class.
Yeah.
And that's
Me
where
too.
he sort of like introduced me to that world because of it. But yeah, like overall, we just started our project not really knowing what we were doing or what was going on or whatever. I just knew to do the blog stuff.
Cool.
And so we were like some of the first people in our class to get like Spotify playlisting and like that kind of notoriety.
Wow. You were Berkeley famous. You had Berkeley clout. That's like my thing. I never had Berkeley clout, but I talk about it a lot.
That's the thing is like, I mean, I would love real clout. That would be awesome. Like
I'd rather it be this way for me than being really cool at Berkeley than being
though what was interesting is that because we got the sort of Berkeley clout, like a lot of our friends we wound up like collaborating with in ways that we didn't necessarily think that we could. So even though like maybe from like a stream count perspective, we kind of look like, a little bit on the baby side, we've been lucky enough to work with like, a bunch of people from Berkeley and their mutual friends and all that, whatever, because of that early
Berkeley
clout bubble buzz. Yeah.
That's really cool though. I knew you guys had Berkeley clout. I'm not going to play like I didn't know, but I did.
I love that.
I knew about it. I knew about you guys. Not shocked that you did not know about me. I was a grand old underdog. I was in a lot of the cool clout classes, but I was very much a small figure there. I was not a big wig, but met some really cool people, learned a lot. I like a lot of the random departments at Berkeley, like the musical theater writing department and some people in the harmony department. I was really bad at harmony, but I was very taken in there by my favorite teacher, Mark Zaleski. I'll shout him out. He was great.
We bonded in Steve Kirby's harmony class over analyzing Still Crazy after all these years.
Nice. That's fun. But yeah, Berkeley was interesting for me in my department.
I mean, I dropped out, so
really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I dropped out. Noah stayed.
Cool.
So yeah, like there's 1 degree amongst the two of us. Yeah, and likewise, I wasn't really studying songwriting there. It just happened that I wound up getting into songwriting.
That's cool.
On the way to LA, like we literally stopped in Nashville, and I did my first session coming out here.
Nice, very cool.
Just like random stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I didn't know you at Berkeley. But what's nice about Berkeley Buzz is that it doesn't have to exist in Boston. Like once you started putting out stuff and like and started collaborating with our friends and all that, I started hearing your name everywhere. So and loved
That's
your music.
Nice.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm so glad. Yeah.
Of course. I mean, yeah, we're both recovering theater kids too, so we love like when somebody can really like hit that note.
Wow, thank you. That makes me so happy. Yeah, I'm also a recovering theater kid. I think that was more traumatizing than Berkeley. I don't know. Theater club or Berkeley? I don't know. They're a close call.
I've never met anybody who's done either theater or Berkeley who hasn't had some traumatic story associated with it.
Yeah, both. Both.
Both. Just both. Yeah, both. I'll do both. Let's do both.
They'll tie. There'll be a tie. There'll be a tie for me.
Yeah, they can compete. They can talk amongst themselves, and we'll see who comes out victorious.
Oh yeah.
Where are you from originally?
I am from Long Island, New York.
No shit. All right.
Yeah. So my brand might seem super classy and cool and like elegant, but I'm actually Long Island trash.
Well, I'm from Westchester, so I'm like equidistant to the city to you, just on a different on the different side of the state.
Yeah. Very cool.
Together we make one L.
Yeah. Just one big. We're just taking L's.
Just taking L's.
Yeah.
That's cool though. Did you do any open mics in like the city and stuff growing up?
I'm trying to think. I did a lot on Long Island. I went to an arts high school the last 2 years of high school. It was weird. They like bussed me there for my electives in high school. So I did my like my academics in the morning and then got bussed over to an arts high school in the afternoon to do all like singing stuff and music stuff. And there I was in this
In the city?
No, on Long Island. And
Long
there
Island, yeah.
I was I like created a little duo with me and my friend. His name's Jeremy. He also went to Berkeley. And we were Jillian and Jeremy. And the end was a treble clef. And we did
Incredible.
we did a bunch of little like, like coffee shops and like events for the school. And we were kind of like, we had like Long Island School of the Arts clout. So,
That'll do it.
Yeah.
The LISA, the Lisa.
Well, it's called Lisa, actually. LIHSA. Yeah.
That'll
you were right.
That'll do it.
It's the only place I was really like popping off. I was like really cool there.
I have a very important New York-based question, which
boy.
is how badly do you miss the bagels?
A lot. I think they're stuck here. I've had one bagel since I've been out here, and it was at a 4.5-star place, and they were very bad. So, R.I.P.
I get sad every day about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My boyfriend this year lived in New York City in the East Village, right like 2 steps away from Tompkins Square Bagels. And those are the best bagels I've ever had in my entire life. Everything bagel, toasted with veggie cream cheese, chef's kiss.
I can literally just like taste it as
And
you're
a person,
describing it.
yeah.
And I ate and I'm still hungry.
Yeah. I mean, that's how it will make you feel.
What are you up to right now? Like what's been new in this I don't even know what day of the week it is. It'll be Sunday when this comes out. So what's this week like for you?
Yeah, so this week I usually do sessions every day. Today I reserved it for Talking Lion. So
Why, thank you very much.
Didn't have a
Very
session
grateful.
today. I'm moving out of my sublet soon, so I'm trying to find an apartment. Working on a publishing thingy, but I won't say much on that.
Ooh.
Just in case anything completely goes wrong, because every time I seem to talk about something that happens.
It's the
But
curse.
yeah, are you asking about like my day to day or like a week or just like what am I up to recently?
As far as like this week goes, like what's getting you hyped? Like what's got you excited?
Yeah, I mean, I just released my song "Hurt Again" this past weekend, which is super exciting. Trying to make it move on TikTok like the last 2. It's hard to go 3 for 3, but we are trying. And seems to be doing pretty well. I'm very happy with it so far. I have sessions pretty much every day, and I've kind of put my EP together, which is really nice. Hopefully that'll be out in February.
The other thing I wanted to ask is, did you take to TikTok like this year, and like and what was your experience with the app?
Yeah, so I started watching TikTok very early. This guy that like I used to like semi-date that went to my gym would make really cringy TikToks. So I like would send them to my friends and be like, oh my God, what is this? Shout out him. So that's the first person I knew that was ever posting on TikTok. And it was like 2019 fall. And there's all these super cringy videos from that guy from the gym. So I was like, what's TikTok? And then I started really watching a lot of it. And I was like, wow, this is so funny. Like, this is like Vine 2.0. And I always kind of told myself if another app like Vine came out, I would like get my ass on it and try to like, make something of myself. And I was going to start off doing like impressions because that's kind of like another thing I do secretly.
Wait, I didn't know you do impressions. I'm pausing your story. I want to hear one.
Oh my God. Everyone loves my Halsey one. I'm gonna start this out by saying I really meant it from the start. Take a broken man, right out his hands and put back all his parts. But you're not half the man you think that you are. And you can't feel the hole inside of you with money, girls, and cars.
What the fuck?
That's really good.
That was great.
Thank you. I used to do impressions secretly for with a lot of like, not with a lot of Berkeley girls, of a lot of Berkeley girls.
I mean, you were probably like a ringer for the like sound alike projects at Berkeley.
I don't think I ever did one. I did a lot of like live too, because I kind of created my whole own band
yeah.
there. And people were like, ooh, easy. band.
I kept getting called in for sound alike projects, so I was always so excited, but I don't know how to do impressions well. I did like Maddie Healy for Chocolate.
Oh my God, smell like chocolate. That one's not as good.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that's pretty easy. You just gotta do that. Somebody had me on a Peter Gabriel track, and I'm just like, you know. Oh, and then you have me on the
Arcade
suburbs.
Fire, yeah.
In the suburbs, I
Love it.
I learned to drive.
Yeah.
But that's really, really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I mean, you're crushing on the app. We've seen
Thank
friends
you.
just really embrace it this year.
There's a lot about TikTok that I love, and then there's definitely pros and cons for me. I'm like a very like secret, weird, creative person that like wants like people to hear my song for the first time when it comes out as a surprise. But on TikTok, you know, I kind of have to promote since like pre-saves are kind of my bread and butter. I need to like promote it pre-release. So it's like a lot for me to keep, you know, promoting my music before it comes out and having people pre-save it into their library. I mean, it's awesome. But like sometimes I'm like, ooh, like I want to keep this one a secret. I want, you know, someone to hear this like that, like before they've ever heard it. And I'm sure there's people like that who listen to my music. But for me, I know the majority is because my pre-save stuff on Spotify and just having those videos go viral before the song comes out. So it's,
you're circling and like touching on a really interesting thing that has been in the back of my head, but I don't think I've actually given it a lot of thought, which is I feel like a lot of the times when we're writing, the most important thing we try to keep in mind is what the first experience is for a listener.
yeah.
Because it's in that sort of first experience that you get that, you know, first rush of not knowing what's going to happen in the song, or how a chorus is going to hit you, or how you're going to relate to a lyric. And it's one of our curses, which would be we never get to experience a first listening of our own music. But that, yeah, first listening of a song is the most important, one of the most important things. And, you know, all of these sort of previews on TikTok is almost like the trailer that gives away the whole plot, you know?
Yeah. No, that's how I feel. And I enjoy doing it because I know it will help me in the long term. But, you know, I want to get to a point where I'm big enough on social media where I don't have to do it with every song, and I can release my EP and have people stream it just as well from just liking what they've heard already and not liking what they've heard from something specifically pre-release. So it's like a really good marketing tool.
And I think it does, you know, in a lot of ways affect how people are writing now, because they're thinking like, what's the 30-second chunk that like works best? I think what I really appreciate about your songs is that like when I was listening, I didn't immediately have that feeling of, oh, this was made for this 30-second part or whatever, which I can't say about everything that I listen to anymore. You know, like you write for yourself, and I like that a lot. I think that's great.
Yeah, none of my songs are, especially for my project, it's just been writing pretty much my experiences. And with Fever Dream especially, I kind of had like, I wrote the song a while before it came out. And I was like, I feel like this would work with one of those car videos that the chorus and the lyrics just kind of, I could see it, somebody singing it in their car. And then like, I just kind of did it one day. And Fever Dream was definitely my most successful song. So far, it went viral like 7 times. And I never really realized how big it was when it was happening, because it was the first time anything like that had happened to me. But now trying to do that again and again, you see how much that one really took so naturally. And so like organically, and how it's really hard to get a moment like that. And I should be appreciative. Yeah.
Well, tell me about writing Fever Dream, because you wrote it with our friend Maria.
Yeah. So Fever Dream was written like last August, like August 2020. It was Perrin, Maria, and I, and we were all friends from school, and we would write a lot on Zoom during the pandemic because we were 3 people from school that like were really into sessioning. Perrin especially, I remember she would have like 3 sessions a day at Berkeley. And I was like, wow, like I do 2 a day, but that's crazy.
That's that Berkeley ass clout.
Yeah. Yeah. So she was always sessioning, and I was always sessioning, and Maria was always sessioning. So we were like, when the pandemic hit, we were like, oh my God, like we can't go anywhere in person. Like, and they were probably 2 of the first people I started doing Zoom sessions with. And yeah, I brought in like this guitar concept, like this concept of Fever Dream. And it was like me with an acoustic guitar. And we wrote the song that way on an acoustic guitar. It was different than how I had brought it in, sort of. And then one day I kind of just took it downstairs in my little music room at my house, and I started playing like piano chords, and I was like looking up Louis Capaldi type beats and all that. And I was like, this could be a huge like ballad. And I was always thinking, like, at least at that point in 2020, it was all about like pitch and Berkeley pitch. Like, what if we pitched this?
Right.
But
What
I
if
was
we
like,
pitched
I don't
this?
think I want to pitch this. I think I could create this like whole artist project of myself with like my voice. Like, I always felt like my voice wasn't appreciated at Berkeley because ballads and big vocals weren't really a big Berkeley thing, at least in the songwriting department. It was more like that sexy, whispery voice, at least from my experience. So I was like,
The Halsey rasp.
Yeah, the Halsey rasp. But I was like, I really want to make my project work with my voice. And like, I felt the way I could start was doing ballads to show my range and show my voice, but, you know, not be like super upbeat and super like, all the time. So I just kind of like took the song in a whole different direction and sang it as a ballad. And I was like, wow. Like, and I sent Maria and Perrin the first like draft of it as a ballad. And they were like, we're crying in the car. We're listening 3 times. And I was like, okay, this is probably good. And then I literally just got randomly paired up with Alex Wilkie, who produced it, from like a FaceTime call. Somebody was like, you should work with him.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that he produced it. He's great.
Yeah. He's amazing. They were like, yeah, you guys should work together. And I was like, I have this demo. And I sent it, and it was like so rough. And he like sent me the first one back, and I was like, this is awesome. From there, Fever Dream was born, and then I started promoting it, and it really changed my life.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
Is there a line that stands out for you in the song? Something that like unlocks the song for you?
Yeah, like the pre-chorus is definitely like one of my favorite things I've ever co-written in my whole life. It's like, because you're so bad for me, but I want your love every morning, waking up with him, but I wish you'd call me. I still miss our extremes.
And you're so bad for me, but I want your love every morning, waking up with him, but I wish you'd call me. I still miss our extremes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
I think I noted that. I think I noted that line
Yeah.
while I was listening earlier today.
Nice. It's also the way I emphasize it, and like the note, like I don't remember which one of us wrote that chain, like that weird like note that's in it. It's like, 'cause you're so bad for me. And it's like the way it's sung, like, I don't know. Every time I sing it, I'm like, yes, I feel this. So
The slide.
yeah.
Tell me also about Give Me a Reason. That one, I think that's my favorite. That one it has actually been stuck in my head for the better part of the last 48 hours.
Oh. Well, Give Me a Reason was another Zoom session. It was a little later in the year. It was January 2021. And again, just teamed up with a friend.
Oh, you were with Allie.
Yeah, Allie Ahern. We've known each
Oh,
other
yeah.
since freshman year. We were in Kara's class together sophomore year, fall. And she was somebody I always really liked and respected at Berkeley and thought was super talented. And she also kind of like always did her own thing and like stood out in a good way. And kind of wasn't in a Berkeley bubble, and I wasn't really in a Berkeley bubble. So I was like, hey, like, let's write together. And she, I think, had reached out to me too and was like, yeah, we should definitely write again. So we wrote on Zoom. That was a long session because we like caught up a ton. And we wrote it over a House of Wolf track that she had, I think, from her publisher or from working with House of Wolf. And yeah, we literally just top-lined that song. And then I spoke to House of Wolf myself because I was supposed to be working with them in like a Zoom session the next week or something. And I was like, I actually just wrote one of your tracks if you want to like beef it up. And and they did. And that's, yeah, when I recorded all my own vocals for that one and arranged everything in it vocal wise, like all the ad libs and stuff. And I wrote the bridge like on the spot while recording. So that one, yeah, super special to me too. I love that one.
That's awesome. And I opened up the credits while you were chatting. I see Allie's name, and I'm like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
knows
I've done 4 songs with her.
Really?
I think the next 4 songs she's putting out, I think I've had a hand in one way or another. She's one of my absolute favorite people to work with.
Wow, that's awesome. Yeah, she's amazing. I remember that session being very much like Zoom, like mute and come back with stuff. And it was like, I remember like I wrote the verse, she wrote the pre, I wrote half the chorus, she wrote the other half. It was so like puzzle pieces. And that's the first time I've ever really done that with a song where it was like, wow, like that's sick. Let's do that after that and piece yours with mine. Yeah, it was very much.
I love that. I call it tennis. I love because for me, it feels a lot like, you're in one corner and they're in the other and you're just lobbing the ball over the net back and forth,
Yeah.
That's awesome. Small world.
Pausing the podcast to shout out our sponsor, New Wave.
No, I've been drinking coffee my entire life.
As a Roman, same.
As a New Yorker, absolutely.
It's our birthright.
It's our birthright. We came out of the womb drinking coffee.
Fully caffeinated.
And the thing is that we're not getting any younger.
That's true.
And we're not getting any less anxious.
Oh, man, that's true too.
I'll say I have loved coffee my whole life, but lately it hasn't really been agreeing with me.
How so?
Unfortunately, when I drink coffee now, I just start feeling very agitated, very anxious. I've been looking around for alternatives that don't make my heart just beat out of my chest while I'm in the middle of working. And that's how we stumbled upon New Wave. New Wave's Flow State Coffee is an organic ground coffee meant to lower anxiety, improve brain function, and support creativity. With L-theanine and raw cacao, Flow State Coffee is meant to feel like a cup of hot chocolate or tea while giving the energy of coffee.
And now, through Talking Lion, you can try a couple cups of your own.
If you go to their website, newwave.co, that's N-O-O wave.co, you can use the code BrewingLion for 10% off your first order. We hope you get a creative boost and find your flow state.
Now, back to the show.
But you just put out Hurt Again as well, which is also beautiful and a great song. And yeah, wishing it the best on all the social medias.
Thank you.
But yeah, tell me about that one too.
Yeah, so that one was I don't know if it was my first or my second session in LA. It was a 10-hour session. I usually don't go that long, but that one was very long because we had started a different song that I was just like, I don't think this is for me.
You were with Burrell and Colin, I'm seeing. I'm like, and Emma.
Yes. Oh my God, I love the two of them. They crack me up. They're like brothers and they bounce off of each other.
They're hilarious.
Yeah, so the session was with Colin, Alex, and Emma Love from Loot.
Yeah.
Yep. She's awesome too. And yeah, we started off that session with a whole different song. I don't even remember what it was. And then I think I was writing a song called Fangirl, and that song does not exist. And then I had Hurt Again in my concept list, and I was like, all right, like safe space, like ballads, Jillian. Like, let's just do another like big thing. Like, I really want to get a song today. I really like who I'm working with. Like, let's do something I'm more comfortable with. And then I was like, we wrote Hurt Again, and it just kind of appeared, and it's very real. And the first verse is very deep and low.
Don't cry anymore and it haunts me. I miss the emotional frenzy of back and forth and messing up. You're so good, it's kinda scary. Not used to someone caring quite this much, so I fuck it up.
Yeah, Super Small World. Every time I mention a song, I'd never looked at the credits. I've been pulling up the credits, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess we do have a ton of mutual friends.
Yeah,
that'll do it.
So fun.
I love that. It's such a small world, and they're just all of them are just like great folks. Like they just are so generous with their understanding of like what you're looking for.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, all those songs are absolutely killer. Like they're
Thank you. Those are my top 3. Anything else is a little questionable, but the new project is probably the things I've been writing in LA are probably the best songs I've ever written in my whole life. So.
Do you have a name for the EP yet?
I do.
Were you able to get the exclusive scoop?
And I've only told my boyfriend, the person I wrote the title track with, which is Bendik Moeller. I went up to him drunk at the party, and I was like, I think I have the title track, and it's our song, and this is the title. It's really cool. But I don't know if I'm going to disclose it yet.
You whispered it like Bendik would whisper something to you at a party.
That's funny. Yeah, he's a funny guy.
You're You didn't mean to do an impression, but in you whispering to Bendik, you channeled Bendik whispering back. It was actually uncanny.
Oh my God. Yeah, he's great. He's so talented. Yeah, we made a really cool song. That one's definitely my favorite song we've done together.
We'll let the mystery be.
Yes.
Foiled in our scoop.
We tried.
Yeah. Well, the title track is like just letters, like it's an abbreviation. I think that's the right word of the title. So, like the title track stands for the title.
Interesting.
It's hard to figure out. It's really cool. It's really about my life in 2018, Boston, Jillian, dating guys who I probably shouldn't have dated, but did for a reason because we wrote Smash songs. Not the guy dated me. I wrote the Smash songs. He didn't even go to Berkeley. So shout out him, my source of income.
There you go.
Make your pain monetizable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Make your heartbreak valuable.
Yep.
Pay your rent.
Woo!
Pausing the podcast to remind you that we have a Patreon that you can subscribe to if you want to support the show.
If you're enjoying this episode, but you're thinking that you've got a burning question for an artist, or you just want to talk with us, or maybe you just want to mug with our faces, our Patreon's the way to go.
So go to patreon.com/talkinglion to subscribe.
Now back to the show. Jillian, are you ready for the question round?
I am so ready for questions.
What do you miss about childhood?
Oh, that's a good question. This is going to be really kind of depressing for everybody in music. I miss listening to songs and not caring about, who wrote it and who who wrote what and who did what and what DAW did they use and who's the producer and how it came together. I miss just peacefully listening to music, not knowing anything about it.
Ain't that the truth?
I feel that. I feel that. I think the reason I cried so hard at the Bon Iver show was I realized that this was like the last thing, like the last safe thing I have. Like I can't. Bon Iver is a spaceship. Like all the other things were mechanics. Like we can look into the car and look under the hood and understand how it works.
Yeah.
And like Bon Iver for me is still just a spaceship. Like I don't know how they do it, and I don't want to know.
I don't want to know.
Yeah. I feel that way about, there's only a few songs that I still feel like connected to without like thinking about like, oh, how manufactured was this? Who put these people in a room? Like there's only a few songs that I feel that way about. And it's kind of sad.
We're editors at the end of the day, like I think if you're creatively inclined, you're a good editor, and that is tricky because it's a hard muscle to shut off.
Yeah.
I think it's easy to not be creative. I know like everybody's got the drive to be creative, but I think that it is easy to be like, okay, like I don't feel like writing today.
Yeah.
Nothing's coming. It's fine. Like creativity, you can shut off. But if you're so used to finding what's wrong with something for the purpose of changing it, then you can't, nothing is fair game. Like,
I've listened to songs that I'm like, they should fire their mix engineer.
yeah. Or lyrics where I'm just like, they just let that one go. Like they didn't realize like that it's that was a fill line they could have fixed later. You know? It all gets so I just can't shut it off.
Yeah.
It gets tricky. What about you, Noah? What do you miss about your childhood?
What do I miss about my childhood?
Noah actually was born 21, fully formed.
Wow.
Yeah, it feels that way at this point.
Are you guys aren't 21, right?
No, I'm 25.
I'm 24.
Cool. I'm 22.
Yeah. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Can I answer?
Yeah, go for it.
So my grandpa's actually in the hospital at the moment.
I'm sorry.
He's okay. It's just been a whole thing. But I saw my grandfather at the hospital, and we were just talking about, apple picking. So I went apple picking in New York last week when we visited.
Aw.
He was saying that he remembers this place called Schultz's Cider Mill. And I've been talking about it with, I mention it every once in a while, but there was this orchard and cider mill near my hometown that like you would sit at a bar that was like circular and it surrounded an oven.
Oh, that's
and
so cool.
they would give you fresh apple cider, hot or cold, whatever you wanted. And then the donuts would come out of the oven and they would just hand it to you.
Wow.
Like straight out of the oven.
That sounds so yummy.
But it closed when I was like 4 or 5. And it's weird because it's like, if you were to say, what's your first like happy memory? I don't remember my childhood until I sat down and ate that donut.
Wow. That's so cool though. You have like a very distinct memory. Like that's a very cool like time to remember. I'm trying to think of something like that for me. I remember my dad always made me a CD called like Jillian's Hits, and it was just like my favorite songs. Yeah, and I had like a little like radio box that you put the CD in, and I remember "Girls Just Want to Have Fun" was one of the songs. I remember
what a song though.
Such a good time. And Dancing Queen.
All right, I think I have my answer.
got yours.
I got my answer.
Tell us about your childhood, Noah.
So I have one specific answer and one general answer. There was back when I was in Zimbabwe.
Oh my God.
That's where I grew up.
Oh yeah, you grew up in
Wait,
Zimbabwe.
really?
Yeah.
Very cool.
A lot of bad things about growing up in Zimbabwe, which is the first stuff that came to mind. But one happy, pure memory I have is of this coronation chicken sandwich. It was called coronation chicken. It's a British recipe because obviously a lot of stuff down there is like British colonial history.
Yeah.
And it was just this beautiful. It was at my elementary school, and we would go on our lunch breaks, and there was this little cafe, and there's this coronation chicken sandwich, and it's just one of those things. I mean, it's partially just because it's a childhood thing, right? Like, I don't think I will ever have a chicken sandwich that good.
Yeah.
Ever in my life. Like even the memory of it, I'm like, nothing will ever taste that. And I've had amazing meals in the 20 plus years I've been alive since then, but nothing will ever quite measure up to this one coronation chicken sandwich. I've thought about like in London going to places and seeing if I can seek out something that sort of scratches that itch, but nothing's ever really going to scratch that itch because it's just, it was just the beauty of being a child mixed with just a really good spicy chicken sandwich.
Yeah, that's
and then
awesome.
broadly, I was thinking about just like this is such a like corny answer. It's the obvious thing you might think of when you think of childhood, but like I miss just playing like make believe with my friends.
Yeah,
just like in the yard, running around, like literally just entertaining ourselves.
Manhunt. I think about Manhunt all the time. We lived like in a bit of really quiet neighborhood in a really small town. So the whole neighborhood was like fair game for Manhunt. We'd all just be running around chasing each other in the dark,
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's just there's just something so pure about that experience.
So cool.
Of just like just entertaining yourself with nothing around and your own brain.
Yeah.
That like and this is gonna sound super crotchety and old manny, but like we just have different options now that there's just less of an incentive to do that as a person. There's less of an incentive to be entertained by yourself because entertainment's so readily available.
That was very deep.
I miss the general concept of joy.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, the general concept of joy.
I love the food answers because like bagels, like whatever. We ordered soup dumplings last night and they were good. Don't get me wrong, they were good, but nothing beats Dumpling Palace's soup dumplings at 2 a.m.
Can't confirm because I just had Dumpling Palace soup dumplings at 2 a.m.
I didn't really eat there. I got food poisoning there from a bubble tea. So I didn't go that often.
Boba?
I love boba and bubble tea.
You can get food poisoning from boba?
Yes, my friend's boyfriend did too from this, like the only boba place on Long Island when we were like 15. Still probably, it went out of business. But he like threw up all over her bed from boba.
Wow.
So yeah, I got that from Dumpling Palace. I was a big, and emphasis on the word big, Love Art Sushi fan.
Whoa! Oh man,
Interesting.
Because you came in 2017. That just opened as we were leaving, but I went all the time because it was like poke, but like not like dry. It was delicious.
It was so good. It's still the best poke place I've ever been to. Little Steve's Tea House, Teriyaki House.
Mm-hmm.
Come on, so many lunches, late nights.
All of our friends were tea house people. It wasn't me.
Really?
I pledged my allegiance to Dumpling Palace, and I will die.
There's no rivalry.
Wow.
Like you
Wow,
can
guys,
go to
I really
both.
miss Boston now. Like, oh my God. Sometimes I get these like moments where I just cry about how much I miss there's really good memories I have from Berkeley, but it's not the music stuff.
No, I mean, we had a show at the Middle East last week.
Oh my God.
So we were in Boston last week.
jealous.
We were opening for this artist named Fangs with Me at Hope.
Cool.
And what was so funny was that like Noah, Jess, Miette, and I were all fucking anxious. Like we were all having these like weird like mini PTSD responses to being back there.
Yeah.
and like whatever, and like sort of recognizing all the baggage that was there. But also I did, we had to go home to catch our flight. So we actually just drove right after the show. But Noah did a little tour of Boston with his partner.
Yeah.
And
that was actually really nice. It was nice and surreal to go back and like walk down the Berkeley beach and see a big group of kids coming out of a calf show.
Yeah.
And be like, I have such a strong link to this location.
Yeah.
But it's all fresh blood. I have no personal link to Berkeley anymore. Like, it's just like, here's this place that means so much to me. And now there's all these new younger people making new memories with it. And I felt so like there was a weird sense of warmth and comfort being there and seeing it all, but also like a weird sense of detachment.
Yeah, I forget about that stuff. I forget about like the late nights at Tea House with the scallion pancakes and the Harvard frat final club parties that freshmen went to.
I'm not secure enough in my ego to like interact with the kids in the Berkeley bubble because one, I would not be able to stop myself from being like, hey, have you guys heard of Sleeping Lion? We were really big back when you were in high school, and two, I don't know. I don't know what my ego would do if they said no or if they said yes. Like, I think either answer would like set me back some.
Yeah. I don't think I would ask them I would not ask them if they knew me. I think I associate Berkeley with bad memories when I think about certain people at Berkeley or a certain staff at Berkeley. But when I think about Berkeley as like an actual college and not the mini music industry that it was, I have really good memories about it.
Well, and like the music industry and the mini music industry, there was so many shitty egos at Berkeley, and blatant misogyny and boundary crossing shit, personally, professionally, all that. But I think in a lot of ways too, it because of its sort of mini trial run of the music industry, it was a good place. I think I can only speak for myself, but like to learn how to call people out on their behavior, how to be respectful of boundaries or set your own boundaries, and how to know the difference between like professionalism and self-care.
Very true.
Recognizing that like how important it is, at Berkeley, Noah and I, we're only able to work on our record in the MP&E studios from like 2 a.m. to 6 a.m. So we like learned that hustle, which is good. I think we also learned that nothing is ever worth that level of exhaustion.
100%.
It will kill you. It will actually legitimately at some point kill you.
Yeah. I only did one session like that, but I know a lot of producers and MP&E people that actually had to book their own times, had that. And that's horrible.
We're a duo because we didn't want to book a practice room. Neither of us thought we could get up early enough to book one.
Oh, wow.
For a bigger band, yeah. So we're like, two's easy. We can do two in a room,
Yeah. Oh, love it.
That's so funny. What's something that you had a hard time with as a child that you still have a tough time with now?
If I could do funny and then I could do deep. Funny, this is such a weird thing about me, and maybe I'm like possessive and strange, but I like hate when people copy me, or like even like, this is like a really weird example, but like I can't order the same thing as someone at like a restaurant.
Oh my God.
Like if I'm getting the chicken sandwich and you get the chicken sandwich, I'm like, there's going to be two chicken sandwiches. Like, I have to get something different. And I've realized that about myself really young. Like, I've done that my whole life. It's so weird. And now I'm kind of like over it. Like, sometimes I'll get the same thing as someone, but that's stuck with me for a while.
That's interesting. Do you have a sibling?
I do. That's a whole other story.
That makes sense. Yeah.
But yeah.
Are you the older one?
I'm older. My brother has autism. He's 18.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
I would gatekeep the hell out of music for my brother, because whenever my brother liked a song, he would sing along, but only like every fifth word.
Yeah.
So like if I showed him like Move Along by like the All American Rejects at the time, he would be like, you just hear my brother going, strong, long, you do.
Oh my God.
And I just
So
it ruined the
funny.
songs for me. So I gatekeep my brother.
That's so funny. My brother's favorite song is Despacito. So
Oh man.
loves it. Sings it.
Great. That's a great song.
Yeah.
I didn't know that about your brother though. Would you mind speaking on that experience?
Yeah, I'll speak on it a little bit. I won't go too crazy.
Sure.
But yeah, growing up was definitely different for me. I didn't really have like a sibling that I could talk to. My brother doesn't understand much. He speaks and you can have a conversation with him, but it's not like a normal conversation. Yeah, he struggles a lot with like OCD and just like has a learning disability as well. I never really noticed how different he was until I saw my friend's brother, who I've known them my whole life, was 18 and like he was going off to college and like had a girlfriend. And I was like, wow, I remember being 18 and my brother's so different and so much younger seeming. And that was kind of like, I always knew he was different, but as a cute kid, we're 4 years apart, so as like a cute little brother, like it seemed a little more normal or rational to be like a little less mature, but now it's like it's come to when he's 18 and he's still there. So I think at 18 was when he turned 18 was like the first time I really realized, wow, like this is so different from when I was 18. Like I can't, like so different. And like, yeah, this year's been really hard with COVID. It definitely has humbled me. And I feel, this sounds kind of conceited, but I feel like I've been through a lot. And sometimes I feel like alone in what I've been through, but I also feel like really strong and like nothing can break me and stuff from stuff that he and like has led me to have been through.
I appreciate just you sharing that. I just appreciate you touching on it for sure.
Yeah, of course.
And what's your serious answer for what was something that was tough in your childhood that is still tough for you now?
Oh, we're gonna get even deeper.
Yeah, well, what's something you had a tough time with?
I think body image, and I know a lot of girls will say that answer, which is sad that women are made to feel like they can't exist unless they're, look like everybody else. But yeah, I always kind of struggled with my body image and food here and there. I've definitely struggled with like anxiety around food or eating too much food or not eating enough food, and a lot of ups and downs in that window. Yeah, and I definitely still do. Kind of a couple events led me to feel that way about myself, but we're working on it. And now I kind of just use my platform sometimes when I'm comfortable to like promote being somewhere in the middle and not necessarily plus size and also not necessarily your typical skinny pop star. Not that I'm a star yet. Oh, you are a star. Hey, only stars allowed on Talking Lion, Woo! Star.
Noah, what is yours?
All right,
You've been thinking. I see you marinating.
I got a good one. The thing that I had trouble with as a kid, that I still struggle with, is like picking a goddamn lane. I think about how, as a kid, when they asked me what I wanted to be when I grew up, what I really wanted to be was a pilot, but also that I would cook the food on the plane. And also I would be a doctor. So if someone got sick on the plane, I could help them out. And also I would probably some other stuff. Like I remember as a kid having this big business plan of like doing everything on the plane, like
wow.
Flying the plane, but also like being a flight attendant. The dream was always to do literally everything I could.
Aww.
And I feel like I still struggle with that impulse to be like, oh, I'm going to be a writer and an artist and a producer, and I'm going to act a little bit, and I'm going to do a little bit of comedy, and I'm going to try to write some short stories. And like that my impulse is very much like completely scattered and like ADD about like my ambitions. And there's not a narrow focus, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. There's something nice. And Nate and I have talked at length about this, about how it, that there's liberty in like bouncing around a lot of different areas of creativity, and that can actually be really empowering and good. But that it can also be this negative of like you hedge your bets and you don't really get anything done because you start a million things and never finish any of them.
I used to do that all the time. And now it's kind of like only when I watch Shark Tank, I'm like, wow, I should start a business. And it's like, wait, I kind of already have one and it's me. Oh no.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of something that. But what I think is interesting about it is that, it's obviously okay when you're a kid. Like when you're a kid, you're allowed to just dream to be whatever you want. The older you get, the more it's like, what are you actually doing with your life and opportunity cost? And like, if you're doing that, then you're not doing this. And are you wasting your time here? Like, if you don't follow through on something, it means so much more as an adult.
Yeah.
So that's why it feels like, a struggle that the seed was planted really early.
And when I tell anybody that I'm working on something, like I'll tell them when it's a twinkle in my eye that I had last week. So everybody's like, so aren't you, writing a book? I'm like, oh no, that was 3 weeks ago. No,
Yeah.
I'm doing something else now.
Yeah.
It took me too long to actually figure my answer in this moment, even though like it's so obvious that this is the thing. Like this is, if there is a thing, the thing, it is this, which is I struggled so much as a kid getting anywhere on time. Like getting out the door in my house was, I wasn't a particularly good morning person and I had early classes, but I also I love talking to people and I love, like looking on my phone and I love, taking things off of my to-do list. And I'm also just really bad both at sort of like anticipating how long maybe like the journey to get somewhere will take. Like I think in my head it's always like, oh yeah, I'll be lucky this time and it'll be like the minimum amount of time as opposed to like double that, which is what it probably is closer to.
Yeah.
But also I just don't understand, like I don't feel it in my gut, like what time passing feels like. But it's like, yeah, I have a hard time being on time places and it's fucked with friendships and it's hurt some feelings and it's just sometimes even ruined some opportunities. And it's something that I do feel extremely out of control with. And I felt that as a kid and I still feel that now. So that's something it's hard to work on, because it's the problem is like, the problem is like an understanding of how time feels on your body.
Yeah.
So that's like trying to like get better at something when you don't have that sense.
Yeah.
That's what came to mind immediately.
Next question is, what is your phone background?
Oh, it's actually my lock screen. Hold on. Is Boston. I took this photo myself. It's of the something gardens. It's next to the common.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the public garden. I don't know, but yeah, it's like of the river there. It's like my first week in Boston, and I took that photo. It's still my background. And then my home screen is my boyfriend on the beach for our anniversary.
Nice.
We had our anniversary, and we made a whole charcuterie board to eat it on this like private beach, and then the private beach was closed, so we went to a public beach, and there's a bunch of seagulls around. So he was just like, here I am.
Living the life. I love it.
Very fun.
Yeah.
Do you have a non-musical hobby?
Such a good question, because no. Yeah, everyone's like, what do you like? I'm like, this is literally all I do every day. And even in like Berkeley, like I go out like every 4 months. I still do. I'm trying to think, like, what do I do besides music? Watch TV. I love reality TV, but hobbies, like, do I make art other than music art, or do I sew? No. But I do watch a lot of Bachelor Nation and a lot of Love Island and
She's in the pit.
Of just Netflix shows. I just finished You. So good in one day. Squid Game. I'm with the times. I'm a big
You're up with it.
Gen Z, like, I'm a big internet person too, not like on the internet, but I've always watched YouTube. So I guess a hobby of mine could be YouTube. Just entertainment. Like I've been fans of some YouTubers. I was like one of the first like people on YouTube probably. I remember the first video I've ever seen.
I feel I would go to the first VidCons a lot. I was in
really?
that
I
crew.
never made it there. My parents wouldn't let me go, but I'm a huge YouTuber fanatic. Like I love like Cody Ko, and I was like one of his tenths of thousands subscribers. Like literally so early to that party.
Is that a dream collab with Cody Ko?
Yes,
Cody Ko,
I think I'd want to
Tiny
like
Meat Gang
write
collab.
for the TMG project, because I'm a funny lyricist too. It just doesn't come out in my sad sultry music, but I have some pitch records that are just super out there, and I'm sure I could land one with Cody Ko.
Well, most important question on the podcast. Are you ready for it?
Mm-hmm.
Would you pirate?
Arr.
No, I don't think so. I get seasick. I get car sick more than seasick, but I don't want to wear too much clothing. I get sweaty. I'm good. I also don't love the water unless I'm looking at it.
There you go.
Rather
That's a
than
clear-cut
swimming in
answer.
it.
Yeah.
She's on your team, bud.
Yeah, that's fully where I'm at.
That's,
I'm like,
that's a W for Noah.
Yeah.
we love to see it.
Woo!
What's the first concert you went to?
The first concert I went to was Cheetah Girls.
Ooh,
Hell yeah.
that's fun.
2008
Hell yeah.
or 9.
Living the cheetah dream.
What a life. What a time. They did not sing that
Very
song
good.
there. But yeah.
Do you have any tattoos?
None. She gets mad when I say this, but she says it. My mother would kill me.
Do you have a scar with a story?
Oh no. I've never been like a rebel. I was never a rebellious kid. I never like jumped over fences or anything.
You're unscathed. We've never had an unscathed person.
I fell up the stairs like totally sober like 2 years ago, and I have this little like scar on my knuckle.
That's good. That
There you
works.
go, yeah.
That counts.
But I'm really like
You've been scathed. Walked through the fire.
Yeah, that's it.
Very good. Can you recommend our listeners a movie, a book, and a TV show?
Okay, well, unfortunately, don't listen to me, kids. I don't really read books anymore.
No
but
one does.
I know. A book, a movie, and a TV show. Okay, a book. This is the only book I've ever read in full, probably. You Are a Badass. Great book.
Oh,
There you go.
That series.
That's a classic.
Great book. Okay, movie, The Social Network, my favorite movie of all time. I watched it for the
Aaron
first
Sorkin.
time.
Let's go.
Yes, I watched it for the first time in Boston at like before going to my first Harvard party or after going to my first Harvard
Ooh,
party.
That's good.
And it was so like magical, and I was there. You know, I was with Mark Zuckerberg in my head. Unfortunately, on a TV show, just watch The Bachelor or Love Island. They're just good, binge-worthy TV. See who couples up.
I love The Bachelor.
Yeah,
What are 3 thoughts you have at this very moment?
I'm hungry. I need to
Nice.
find an apartment. My ears are hurting a little from these headphones.
Oh yeah. That happens.
Yeah.
You're in luck because we're on to the last question.
Woo!
Yes. And lastly, finally, what are you looking forward to?
I'm looking forward to my EP and my EP.
Nice.
I'm so excited. It's probably my favorite piece of work I've ever put out so far.
It's just so good when you can feel that way about what you're working on. Like that's killer. We can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, thank you. Oh.
Of course. Well, Jillian, it's so nice to finally meet you after all of our mutual friends
Yes.
and podcast alumni. We are here. We are new friends, and we would love to hang and write in the future.
For sure.
But until then, thank you so much for being on the podcast. We'll talk to you soon.
I'd rather start a fight, scream and cry, make you hit me, then pretend that it's alright. One more night, I can't take it, and if I'm between losing you and losing me, baby, I would rather be hurt again.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Talking Lion.
We would like to thank New Wave and Isotope for their support of Talking Lion.
If you'd like to show your support, ask our guests your questions, talk to us on Discord, and get a shout out at the end of each episode, subscribe to our Patreon over at patreon.com/talkinglion.
Thank you for listening and see you next time.